All right, we're gonna do it once more. And this time, no mistakes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good morning, good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning to you. When the band began to play, the skies were shining bright.
But now the milkman's on his way. It's too late to say goodnight.
So say good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Could be grander than to be in Louisiana in the morning. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were still going.
Good afternoon and welcome to Good Morning 30A. I'm Julie Brown.
And I'm Red Bizarre.
And apparently we are on our 52nd show this week, if you can believe it or not. So
one full year of shows.
Our first guest on our 52nd show is Michael Belk, who is here to talk about Journeys with the Messiah, which I don't know whether to say is a book and also video or...
Well, it actually begins as a collection of fine art, and the book is a spin-off of the fine art.
It is beautiful. It is
Thank
beautiful.
you.
So tell us a little bit. I know you were a fashion photographer. Give us a little bit about your background and what led you into doing this project.
Yeah, I was in the clothing business from high school on, and left the clothing business to become a fashion photographer about 30 years ago, and had the pleasure of really tapping into some great clients. And so my career has taken me from the streets of Paris for Christian Dior to the outback of Australia to all the islands. I've had a blast.
Did
have.
you? I have to ask, because since you said you were a fashion photographer, did you do any of the swimsuit edition photography?
Well, we all wish.
Well, I just thought I'd ask. You're all over the world and all places.
Yeah, exactly. The line for that job is very long. Yeah.
So you started there, and you've been all over the world, and then...
All right, we designed, my company designed and produced fashion advertising for lots of clients. We created the first J. Crew catalog. We created the first Nautica ad campaigns. So we had a good run. We really did. But probably halfway through that career, I started sensing, why me? Why do I get to live this life? Yeah. And is there something more expected of me? And years later, when I literally took a tumble, emotionally, physically, just burned out from the business, was when I rediscovered my faith. I grew up in the church and left it not knowing anything about it. Mm-hmm. But over time, as my faith grew, I started sensing this voice that was saying, what are you doing with all that I gave you? I've trained you in photography and design and marketing. What are you doing with it? Are you using it all for yourself? Or are you sharing it with others?
Giving back at all.
And so finally that voice got pretty loud. And in 2008, with an idea that I felt had been put on my heart by God several years before, we started this project. Ended up being called Journeys with the Messiah, but the idea was to create a series of fine art images that would have a first century Jesus in a first century setting, but with a 21st century twist that would bring it to our time.
Which is a really creative idea.
Very creative.
And having been all over the world, did you have places already in your mind and in your heart where you wanted to go to take those photographs?
Well, actually, I did, and I had actually bought tickets to go to Israel to explore shooting it in Jerusalem. And then another big project came along, and I was off and running, and this got put on the back burner. But in early 2008, when my wife and I decided I was going to take a break from the fashion world and I was going to go after this project, I started doing some research and came across this ancient city in Italy called Matera, and read on in the article about it and found this was where Mel Gibson filmed The Passion of the Christ.
It looks perfect. It looks like the most perfect backdrop.
Yeah, I think it probably looks more like we would think of first century Jerusalem than first century than Jerusalem
20,
would
right.
look like now.
Yeah,
So,
perhaps.
so it's an amazing place. Like I said, Mel Gibson had filmed there, and years ago there was another religious film shot there. But it's a city that goes back some 9,000 years to the first inhabitants of Italy, and it was just the most magnificent backdrop. So I made my first trip over there in March of 2008, and then made 3 more trips before we actually started shooting the project the later part of 2008.
So
And-
start to finish, how long did this take you to?
Well, it's taken us from start to finish close to 2 years to pull it together. We had the images by November of 2008. We thought we would introduce the project in Easter 2009, but it actually, we didn't even have the images edited by that time. In the project, there's 33 images to correspond with the age of Christ when he died, but there's also what we call some Messiah images that are 11 more images. So there's what is that, 44
Right.
images
And
total.
how many pictures did you take?
Oh, I can't even
Thousands?
Thousands
Seems like a
times.
crazy question,
Yeah,
but
thousands.
I mean, to get
thousands,
down to
thousands
44 beautiful
yeah.
images.
Yeah, there were I think we shot 150 gigabytes of images.
Paul.
So split. Yeah.
right out.
Yeah.
It's really big ones.
Took a long time to edit. And the interesting thing when we were editing is that sometimes we knew instantly the picture.
One that was going to work right
We
away.
just made one pass through and there was no question, this is it. In others, there would have been, 15
It's
that
gotta be
were
so hard
all
to
great.
choose.
And that was when it would be difficult,
Yeah.
is to try and decide, so you'd lay out the whole thing and see what's going to work best, so you have so many choices. And then there was a process that we added to the images of blending the backgrounds, the textures of material into the images, and coming up with our own color scheme and all the retouching and stuff that goes into
Well,
it.
the final project the product looks absolutely beautiful, and I did look at the ones online. I need you to tell us now where we can go to view this, and where these books are available, and a website.
Okay.
The basic information so
Well,
that people can come and see and look.
Absolutely. Right now we have a very robust experience on our website. It's called thejourneysproject.com. Okay? Or you can just type in Journeys with the Messiah and that'll get you there as well.
Okay.
But the Journeys, or you can type in my name and that'll get you there. But we cover the first page of Google with this project because we've gotten so much press with it.
Awesome.
But you can go to the website and there you can see all of the images. You can read the stories, the messages behind the images, and that's a very important thing to know, that this was all about messages I wanted to share.
Right.
The images came later. It was, I've got a message I want to share, and what's that image going to be that's going to best
Go with it.
depict that?
And you also are trying to get out, and you are speaking at different places, and
Yes,
get that
we
message
have
out a
just
little bit more.
started the speaking tour, which will, go national and then international. For right now, we wanted to concentrate locally. I opened it up by speaking in my hometown church in Central Florida. I thought that was unique. Here he comes again, little bad boy.
but look at me now.
Yeah, look at me now. That's right. But we did a 2-night presentation and covered about 30 of the images, and we have a whole audio-visual presentation. We've got tons of footage, behind-the-scenes footage from Italy, showing us producing these images and interviews with our Christ figure and so forth. So right now, actually tonight, we're doing a presentation at Simple Faith Church. And then my new president of Journeys, Julie Martin, is lining up presentations for us all over. She's already booked us in
And
Jacksonville.
we can find those on the
Yes,
website.
yes,
On the website if somebody would like to have
right.
you.
Those will be posted on the website, and also on the website you can go on. If you don't want to read the message, just click on the video, and I'll come
Which
on.
is-
I'll come on
Right.
and tell you the
It
tell you
really
the
was.
message
It's
behind
worth
the
it.
image.
Check it
It's
out.
definitely worth checking out, guys. You must do
Yeah.
it. Michael, I have to cut you short, but we need to go on to a new guest.
Hey, thank you so much.
I would love to listen to you some more. So listen, if you're interested, check out his website. Come see him speak.
I was going to say, come
Fantastic.
see him speak and
He's a
understand,
pretty normal
understand
guy,
exactly
don't
what
be
he
afraid.
did. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming by,
thank
both
you.
of us. At the same
Thank you
time.
so much, and
Michael.
I appreciate you letting me come talk to you.
Oh,
Absolutely.
no
The
worries.
book is beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Guys, we'll be back in just a minute. Stick around.